Hello YouTube, it's me, Brittany, and have you missed me? It's been a full month. I know, I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna explain it because this video is called Relocating and Rebuilding, and as you notice, we're in a whole new location. For all 700 of you who've already subscribed and we're still here, thanks so much. I love you all so much. If this is your first time watching, I do plenty of other videos, and I promise I will get right back into doing at least one video a week now that I'm reset, and I'll tell you all about it, but you can't watch any of those videos if you don't hit subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get right into it. So, the last video I think I did was about January 20th, January 23rd, somewhere around there. I had not really known what was about to happen to me, but basically, days later, I was evicted from my house in Colorado. I had to quit my job, and basically up and relocate because in order to move in somewhere in Colorado, they were asking for like $5,000 to $6,000, and homegirl ain't got that. So I basically asked some help from my family, which was thankful. I very much have very loving and helpful family. It's very stressful sometimes to get that help, but I do appreciate it every time it does come. And they helped me get some money, and I got a U-Haul, and I basically packed everything in, and me and Megan drove everything, and I'm living back home in my hometown state, in my hometown and everything, in Missouri. I have my own house now. I don't have to share a house with anybody. It's a nice big 3-bedroom house. I need a paint job, but I pay rent, so I can't really, control any of that, so I don't know what to do. Yeah. It was really kind of stressful. Like for the first week and a half, I didn't really know what was for the first 2-3 weeks. I really didn't know what I was gonna do. I just knew that I had a place to go, and I slept on my parents' basement. In my parents' basement, they have a spare bedroom, and it was just kind of like an adventure, and I was trying to figure things out. What was best for me. I really wanted to go to Vegas, but that option was just not financially acceptable really for me. Like I could have, but it was gonna put me in worse trouble, and I didn't really want to put myself in a situation that was gonna put myself in danger. And in reality, I had enough money to move to Vegas, but I wouldn't have had a job. I wouldn't have had anything, any form of income or anything. I would have just been able to get myself there and be there for a month. So after 1 month, I would have had nothing to do if I hadn't have gotten a job or anything like that. And it took me literally a month here to get everything situated. I got a job here in about a week, but it was just kind of like a whole job until I got the one that I'm gonna tell you about in just a second. So for that reason, I chose not to go to Vegas, and I chose to come back home. Another reason I chose to come back home is there's a safety net here. I not only have my family here, my brother, my parents, but I have a lot of friends here in this area. So like there's that safety net that if something is going wrong, or I need some help, whereas where in Colorado, where I was in, if I would have been in Vegas, I would have been all alone. I wouldn't have really known anybody. I have a different option here to have that assistance, and it's been very, very helpful in the first 3 to 4 weeks that I've been here, in moving into this house, because I didn't have a vehicle. I've been thankfully sharing a vehicle, or borrowing a vehicle from my parents who have too many vehicles. There's lots of benefits to coming here. Another one of the bigger benefits that I've actually really enjoyed about coming back here to Missouri is that there's not so much COVID regulations. It's not really a good thing, or I guess with 500,000 people dying, we should probably have a little bit more COVID regulations. But with those lack of COVID regulations here, I'm allowed to get back on stage and do comedy, and I've already been on stage 2 or 3 times since I've been here. I'm still doing virtual comedy. So like my comedy, which was really why I was looking to go to Vegas, because I wanted to be able to forward my comedy career. I felt like my comedy career wasn't going to struggle here. I was still going to get opportunities, and they're out there. I am in talks to possibly do a tour with someone, locally around the Midwest. Sometime this summer. We'll see how that goes. And I'm doing shows about every week here, physically live in a bar or club or something like that. So that's a huge plus to me, because I've been doing virtual comedy for a long time, and basically virtual comedy is exactly what you're seeing right now. Me just talking to the camera, except for I'm telling jokes and making fun of things. I don't know. You guys just have to watch my comedy or check it out, so that way you can see what kind of jokes I tell. But I basically do the same set, but just kind of doing the same way right here, staring into a camera and speaking to a blank void because I can't really hear an audience in virtual comedy, whereas with live comedy I can see them. So it's a huge bonus to coming back and relocating, you know. So there was a lot of downsides to this. It was really, really frustrating, really, really stressful. I put on about 12 pounds in stress eating throughout this time, and I've just now gotten back into working out and getting myself under control. So, you know, these things happen sometimes in our lives where we just have to kind of like take back and listen to the support that comes, because honestly, like, a lot of this I wouldn't have made it through a lot of it without, you know, the support from my mother and my brother and my friends, and, you know, just telling me, you know, it's going to be okay, you can do this, you can do this. And I did do this. I got a job within a week, you know, working overnights again, because that's me, you know, I always work the overnight, I like that nightlife. I got a job working overnights again within a week because I have lots of experience and I'm just super nice and people like me. And it was great. I really liked that job. And then I got a second job, which was going to be a part-time job, but then they really, really liked me and they just made me the assistant manager. So I had to quit the first job, and now I'm going to be doing just fine. I'm going to take me a while to get out of the red, you know, through this whole situation, but I have people who have loaned me the money, who are being patient, you know, except for my mother, who's constantly like, well, where's my money? You know, even when I try to get my nails done, it's like, hey, where's my money? And I'm like, but I need my nails. Like, that's an important thing. Like, nails are a necessity. You know, it was stressful, but like, we are rebuilding and we're restarting here, and I think we have lots of positives. My son is living here with my parents, so there's very, very good possibility that I have this 3-bedroom house with a whole nother bedroom behind that wall right there that my son could move into for his sophomore year, as he's just now said he'd like to stay here for all 4 years of high school. Super awesome for me. So the longer I stay here, the more I get to be in my son's life on a daily basis. So, you know, I just got a great job, you know, gonna be making good money. I don't see any negatives in anything right now. I could find a boyfriend. That would be awesome, you know, that would be great. But, you know, beggars. Like, I'm begging right now. Let me just take what I can get, and I'll take the scraps, and maybe someday a boyfriend will come along. You know, we'll see. But anyways, you know, I'm so glad that you guys stuck with me. Thanks so much for being here. I promise I'm gonna get back into making real videos where I talk about trans issues and advice. There's so much things to be speaking about over the last month that I just couldn't speak because I just didn't have the ability, and I didn't have any of my setup, everything. Like, I had to have, it's still not set up. It's gonna change again because you can see I don't like my lighting as I'm moving every time, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's horrible. But anyways, please don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much for being here. Remember, you guys can find me on Facebook and Insta at Brittany Rose, on Twitter at Brittany Rose 2. I love you guys. Be safe out there.